Pizza Hut, live from the mic at Coventry Village on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
And good evening and welcome to the high school football postgame show powered by Kester's Automotive, coming to you live from the mic at the 1380 The Fan studio here as we just wrapped up coverage of our Midwest Box Breaks high school football game of the week between Bishop Dwenger and Carroll. And it was a close battle tonight, a lot of field goals and a lot of defense being played by both sides as the final score for that game tonight comes out with Bishop Dwenger getting the win over Carroll tonight by a score of 9-6. We invite you, if you're listening in and if you're somewhere near a laptop or on your phone, if you want to come in and hang out with us here in the studio, you can check out the live stream at youtube.com/1380thefan, or our link is on Facebook at 1380thefan as well if you want to click that. And you can join me live here in studio as we wrap up an exciting night of football in and around the 260 area. Some final scores still coming in from in and around the area. We're starting to get some finals. We're wrapping up some games right now. A lot of action going on and a lot of teams in the fourth quarter, and we'll keep you abreast of all of that. If you want to leave any comments as well as on our YouTube stream, we welcome your comments. If you have any thoughts about any of tonight's games, did the refs screw your favorite team over? Are you mad about something? Are you happy about a victory for your alma mater? Pop into the YouTube stream and leave us a comment there. We would love to hear from you. If you can't make it to the YouTube, we also invite your text to our text line at 260-447-8500. Let's go ahead and get into what you've tuned into the postgame show for. It's time for our first look at the H&K Chevrolet of New Haven high school football scoreboard on the 12th of September tonight. We're going to start off in the SAC. We're getting into conference play now here in this week of action. And starting off in the SAC tonight, it was Northside all over Concordia by a score of 49-14. In our Midwest Box Breaks 1380 The Fan game of the week, which you just heard right here being called by Brett Rump and Shannon Griffith alongside him, it was a defensive battle between Bishop Dwenger and the Carroll Chargers. Bishop Dwenger gets the win tonight over the Chargers by a score of 9-6. One other that has gone final in the SAC tonight, the Snyder Panthers take care of the Wayne Generals by a score of 31-18. Taking a look at two of the other games that are still going on in the SAC, I can tell you that Northrop has a 36-33 lead over the Homestead Spartans with just under 7.5 remaining in the fourth quarter. Northrop took the lead thanks in part to a Jaquaden Guilford touchdown run with 8:14 left in the fourth quarter to put them up over the Spartans. So we're going to see if Northrop can remain undefeated and go 4-0 to start their season as we continue to follow along with that game here on the post show. The other one that is yet to go final in the SAC is a matchup between Bishop Luers and the Southside Archers down at Southside, and Bishop Luers currently has a 21-12 lead over the Archers in the fourth quarter. Moving on to Northeast 8 teams in action tonight. It was Norwell getting their first win of the season over Belmont. Belmont continues to hunt for their first victory in a long while. It was Norwell over Belmont tonight by a score of 48-21. Huntington North got a win over Columbia City. That's a good win for Huntington North. They got the win by a touchdown over Columbia City tonight. Your final score there was 21-14. One more that's gone final in the Northeast 8. It was Leo asserting their dominance over the New Haven Bulldogs tonight by a score of 49-14. I can also let you guys listening now know that one of our SAC scores has gone final. Bishop Luers gets the win over Southside tonight by a score of 21-12. So Bishop Luers, the Knights, get the win over the Archers tonight, 21-12. Moving on to the ACAC, where I have a full slate of final scores here for you tonight. It was Adams Central shutting out Jay County tonight by a score of 40-0. Also, Bluffton gets the win over Woodland tonight by a score of 42-7. South Adams defeated Heritage tonight by a score of 42-14, and it was West Dell defeating Southern Wells 36-14. Taking a look at the Northeast Corner Conference action that I do have final here for so far tonight, it was West Noble defeating Angola tonight by a score of 28-14, and Churubusco defeated the Eastside Blazers tonight by a score of 19-14. A couple final scores that we are looking for if you want to, chime in either on our YouTube or our text line at 260-447-8500. If you would love to chime in with the Fairfield at Culver Academy score, Osceola Grace at Fremont, we would love to hear either of those. Other two in the NECC yet to go final. Our independent team in the area in action tonight, Fort Wayne Blackhawk Christian. They went to Shenandoah tonight, and they dropped the game tonight to Shenandoah by a score of 44-21. And all you Indiana Hoosiers fans out there who missed the Hoosiers in action tonight because you went out to support your local high school football game on a Friday night. There just so happened to be a Big Ten team in action tonight on a Friday night as well. I know everybody loves that one so much. But it was smooth sailing for the Indiana Hoosiers today as they hosted the Indiana State Sycamores. That game kicked off at about 6:30 tonight, so it was done nice and early. Nice and neat and tidy win for Indiana over the Sycamores by a score of 73-0. I hope you took the over on that one. We're going to go ahead and take our first break here. We're going to continue to gather some of these final scores from in and around the area. Again, we would love to hear your comments on any of tonight's games, whether it was one you attended, one you watched, or one you listened to. If you have any thoughts on any of tonight's games, or if you just want to give a shout out, we welcome those too. Again, we're streaming live on YouTube, live from the mic at our fantastic new studios here where we'll be for the rest of the season after your Friday night Midwest Box Breaks games of the week. And that's at youtube.com/1380thefan, or you can find the link to our stream on our YouTube page. You can find the link to our YouTube page on Facebook, and that's at facebook.com/1380thefan. We're going to go ahead and take our first break. You're listening to the Kesters postgame show live on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
Cruzy Automotive Service is proud to
Join me, Tony Simeone, along with Ryan Harris.
And welcome back to the Kester's postgame show, powered by Heat Pizza Hut, coming to you live from the mic here at our 1380 The Fan studios as we continue to have a good one coming down to the wire between the Northrop Bruins and the Homestead Spartans. It continues to be a 3-point, 36-33 lead for Northrop over the Spartans, but Spartans do have the ball, and they are doing their best to move it down the field and try to make something happen. 3rd and 16, though, for the Spartans, so we'll see if they can put something together on this drive. If they can't, it's looking like good sailing for the Northrop Bruins. Other than that, we are just looking for a couple more finals. If you would like to weigh in, if you have the finals, we would love to hear them from you. We are looking for Osceola Grace at Fremont. If you have the final from that one, you can either text it to us at 260-447-8500, or you can weigh in on our YouTube stream at youtube.com/1380thefan. Go ahead and give you a rundown now, as we do have a couple more finals on our H&K Chevrolet of New Haven High School football scoreboard for tonight. It was in the SAC. It was Northside getting the win over Concordia tonight, 49-14. Carroll falls to Bishop Dwenger in our Midwest Box Breaks high school football game of the week. Bishop Dwenger comes up north to Carroll and gets the win 9-6, a defensive one there. Bishop Luers got the win over Southside. That game is now final. Bishop Luers defeated Southside tonight 21-12. And one more that has gone final in the SAC. It was Snyder defeating the Wayne Generals tonight by a score of 31-18. Taking a look at a completed Northeast State scoreboard for tonight, it was Norwell getting the win over Belmont by a score of 48-21. Huntington North got the win over Columbia City tonight, 21-14. And in a flip of that, it was East Noble getting the win over DeKalb, 21-14. And Leo flexed their dominance over the New Haven Bulldogs tonight at Leo, winning 49-14. I do have a full Allen County Athletic Conference slate for you that has gone final as well. It was Adams Central shutting out Jay County tonight by a score of 40-0. Bluffton defeated Woodland tonight 42-7. South Adams got the win over Heritage tonight 42-14. And it was West Dell coming to Southern Wells to get the win 36-14. Northeast Corner Conference teams in action tonight. West Noble got the win over Angola tonight 28-14. Churubusco defeated Eastside tonight by a score of 19-14. Fairfield gets a very close win over Culver Academy tonight, 28-27. Very close, good win there for Fairfield. And one more that has gone final in the Northeast Corner. It was Garrett over Lakeland by a score of 28-7. Some independent action as well for our teams in our area. Fort Wayne Blackhawk Christian fell to Shenandoah tonight by a score of 44-21. And a little bonus score here for you. Some Big Ten action playing out of conference tonight. I shouldn't just say out of conference. I should be saying they played out of their league tonight, playing against the Indiana State Sycamores. Indiana wins over the Sycamores by a score of 73-0. So that's a look at your H&K Chevrolet of New Haven football scoreboard. We're going to go ahead and keep on following along with this game that's coming down to the wire between the Northrop Bruins and the Homestead Spartans. Again, Northrop continues to lead over Homestead by just 3 points with just under 4.5 remaining in the game, 36-33. So we'll keep an eye on that. If you want to weigh in on any games that you watched tonight, any final scores, any plays that you want to highlight, we welcome all comments, whether it be on the text line at 260-447-8500, or if you want to give a shout out to anybody on our YouTube stream, we welcome that as well. Come by and say hello, give your thoughts on tonight's football. That is on youtube.com/1380. Another hour or so tonight, continuing to wrap up some of these final scores, kind of take a look at where some of these teams now sit in their standings for their conferences now that we've gotten a couple weeks of conference play for most of these conferences. Some just started tonight, but we'll take a look at where everything's standing, and hopefully we'll also be connecting with our good friend Brett Rump, who is going to be coming to us live from the Pizza Hut up at Pine Valley. So if you're up in that area and would rather, instead of coming and saying hi to me on my fantastic YouTube stream, if you want to go say hi to Brett at his Pizza Hut. He's going to be at the Pizza Hut up there on DuPont up until about 11 o'clock, and he will be joining us relatively soon as he will give us a breakdown of all the action in tonight's Midwest Box Breaks 1380 The Fan Game of the Week, which saw a defensive battle between the Bishop Dwenger Saints and the Carroll Chargers. Bishop Dwenger gets the win over Carroll tonight by a score of 90-6. We'll get his thoughts on the Carroll offense only putting up 6 points on the night, and we'll also get a lot of thoughts about Bishop Dwenger and their defensive effort holding on to Carroll for just 6 points. So a lot more of that is coming up. We'll also continue to break down our final scores from in and around the area. So you're listening to the Kester's postgame show powered by Pizza Hut right here on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. .1380 The Fan Studios as we continue to summarize and wrap up what went down in tonight's high school football games from in and around the area. Still looking for one more final if you want to send it our way because you were there, or if you happen to have that final score. We are looking for the final of Prairie Heights at Central Noble tonight, and you can either text that in to us at 260-447-8500, or you can stop by our fantastic YouTube stream where you can see our cool streaming setup, and we invite you to come in and hang out with us as we wrap up your night of high school football. I know Brett is now at the Pizza Hut at Pine Valley, and he's working on getting set up to join us here momentarily, but just running into a couple of technical difficulties as that tends to happen. You know, this is live radio. There's going to be some technical difficulties, but we also don't like excuses. I do have an update also for you on that game between Homestead and Northrop. Homestead was able to tie that game up at 36 apiece on a good field goal, so we are looking at a tie game with just over 2 minutes left. Northrop has the ball, 3rd and 6 now, and they're looking to make something happen, probably put an end cap on this game in the form of a game winner, but we will keep you abreast of what's going on, whether they manage to score or whether that game goes to overtime, as that is our last game to go final for you in our 260 area. Other than that, like I said, we're still looking for the Central Noble score between Central Noble and Prairie Heights. If you want to send that in, we would be welcome to receive that. Also on the text line, somebody did text in tonight. They said, huge win for Bishop Dwenger tonight, beating Carroll and the refs. So somebody texted in, not a big fan of the refereeing tonight in tonight's win for Bishop Dwenger over the Carroll Chargers. We're going to have to check in with Brett and see if we can figure out what that texter might have been referring to in some of the officiating. But I know those officials out there are doing their best, but sometimes calls just just go wrong. But other than that, still following along with this Homestead Northrop game. It is now 4th and 6 for the Northrop Bruins, looking to take the lead here with just over 2 minutes remaining. So we'll keep you posted on that. I do have a couple more finals now that I can go through as well on our H&K Chevrolet of New Haven high school football scoreboard for this evening. I can tell you that in the SAC tonight, where I have nearly a full slate as we wait for the conclusion of this Homestead Northrop game, elsewhere in the SAC tonight, it was Northside over Concordia by a score of 49-14. It was in our Midwest Box Breaks 1380 The Fan game of the week. Bishop Dwenger got the win over Carroll in a close one, 9-6. Also in the SAC, Bishop Lures defeated Southside tonight by a score of 21-12. And one more final, Snyder got the win over the Wayne Generals tonight by a score of 31-18. Moving on to the Northeast 8 Conference tonight, it was Norwell getting the win over Belmont 48-21. Huntington North scored and won by a touchdown over Columbia City tonight by a score of 21-14. East Noble did the same to DeKalb tonight. It was a score of East Noble 21, DeKalb 14. And Leo flexed their NE8 dominance tonight over the New Haven Bulldogs, winning by a score of 49-14. Taking a look at the Allen County Athletic Conference tonight, Adams Central shuts out Jay County 40-0. Bluffton gets the win over Woodland 42-7. South Adams defeated Heritage tonight by a score of 42-14, and it was West Dell defeating Southern Wells 36-14. Taking a look at the Northeast Corner Conference tonight, it was West Noble over Angola 28-14. Churubusco got the win over Eastside tonight 19-14. It was a close win for Fairfield, getting the win over Colorado Academy tonight by a score of 28-27. Garrett defeated Lakeland 28-7. Fremont got a big win tonight over Osceola Grace by a score of 59-7. Independent action, Blackhawk Christian falls to Shenandoah tonight. Shenandoah gets the win 44-21. And bonus score for you tonight, Indiana Hoosiers had no problem dealing with the Indiana State Sycamores tonight in Bloomington. Indiana wins by a score of 73-0. I believe we are now being joined by my good friend coming to you live from the Pizza Hut at Pine Valley. It's the one and only Brett Rump. Brett, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. I can't see you, but I can hear you. So apparently we've gotten that far.
You've got that much down, yeah.
Yeah, so I can hear you fine. I just got myself connected here. I am live at the Pizza Hut at Pine Valley. We invite you to stop by, especially if you're still stuck in traffic after leaving the Bishop Dwenger Carroll game. What a game. And once again, Griff and I are the masters of the field goal, because we have now spent the last 2 weeks watching nothing but 3-point scoring plays. We have not seen a touchdown since week 1, and we didn't see a lot of them then. So I guess in some ways we are very defensive minded, because we had a 14-7 game our first week. Last week we had a 9-0 score with the Snyder Panthers defeating the Bishop Lures Knights. This week it topped that. We had 3 field goals last week. We had 5 tonight in a 9-6 Bishop Dwenger lead, but that's win. But that's not the story. The story is Lucas Wynn, who hit a 51-yarder, Adam. I can't see 51 yards. He's kicking field goals from 51 yards. Unbelievable. And give him credit. He drilled it. I mean, there was not much doubt. He split the uprights. He drilled it with probably 5 or 6 yards to spare. And that proved to be the difference in the football game. 9-6, Bishop Dwenger gets the win. And so I think the Saints made a point tonight. They've been beaten soundly 4 years in a row. The Carroll Chargers have beaten them in a head-to-head for the last 4 years. And Bishop Dwenger, I think, wanted to make a statement that we're a contender in the SAC race, maybe even now the favorite in the Summit Athletic Conference. I invite people to weigh in on that. I mean, that Homestead Northrop game, that's a shootout. I don't know if we've got a final on that yet, but
still going.
That's a crazy one. Who's leading it at this point in a game of tag? You're it.
I can tell you right now we're tied at 36 all with 58 seconds left. It looks like it's Homestead's ball, 2nd and 1 Looks like they're near Northrop's end zone, so that looks like they're threatening here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, what a game that is. Well,
Yeah.
we thought the two best games happening tonight were going to be Northrop Homestead and Carroll Dwenger. And at one point, we debated whether or not we were going to be better to be at Homestead tonight or if it was better for us to stick with the Carroll game. And it's like, we already had selected Bishop Dwenger and Carroll. They were counting on us. We'll see what happens with Northrop, try to catch up with them later if they stay at the top of the SAC. But what a battle is going on tonight in
Yeah,
that
no,
game.
absolutely. A tale of two different games here. I mean, you're seeing 36-36 between Homestead and Northrop, but I mean, that doesn't take away from the fact that the game between Bishop Dwenger and Carroll was a very good one, despite the score being 9-6.
I don't know if you don't have your camera on, but I know last week I was able to watch you, and I can't see you tonight. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
it says I'm not allowed to turn my camera on, unfortunately, my friend.
Oh, okay. Well, if either one of us had a camera on, I'm sure our audience would rather it be you than me. But here I am, live at the Pizza Hut, where I always love to spend my Friday nights. And of course, you can too. You can come out here and join me. We've got a couple of tables of folks that are sitting here enjoying their post-game pizza. Did you guys go to the game tonight? Yep. See, they went to the game. You guys, everybody went to the game tonight. We were all at the game together. And out of like 6,000 people, right now, about 6 of us are sitting here in the Pizza Hut. That's crazy. This is a perfect place to wrap up your Friday night, grab a pizza, maybe you get some wings, whatever your fancy is. It's a great place to wrap it up because, the nice thing, you can always take home what you don't eat, and that gives you some lunch tomorrow or some dinner tomorrow night. You know me, I'll get my pizza before I leave, and I'm taken care of for the entire weekend. But go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, I was just going to let you know, Homestead, they were stopped at the goal line there on their second down. Clock is ticking under 30 seconds now. They're at 3rd and 1, and they're going to try and push it into the end zone here again.
Oh, they're just going to kick a field goal.
A little bit of a tush push here, and it looks like they might have broken the plane.
Well,
But
obviously they're not going to do anything to give up that kind of position. So they're either going to just quarterback sneak it or they'll kick the field goal. But
everybody's wondering what the call is. There's no touchdown being signaled, and the clock nearly ran off. There's 1.3 seconds left. So if they don't call a touchdown, I'm sure they're going to go for the kick now here.
Yeah. The main thing they're probably doing is just trying to make sure you don't turn it over. You get it centered for your kicker and set up a game winning. I mean, if the guy goes into the end zone, more power to him. But the bottom line is you just don't want to screw up the possession. And if the play clock requires you to run one more play, then you run that play, get it down to the last 2 or 3 seconds. If they've got a timeout left, they call the timeout and then set up the kick, which is what I assume is going on right now. So,
yeah, a little more time back on the clock, about 6 seconds, 4th and 1. So they're going to be going for that kick here.
Oh, they didn't get it down to see. Now the problem is you might not run all 6 seconds off with a field goal. You may leave a second or two, which means then you go into the crazy, lateral play on the kickoff.
We'll see. We'll keep you posted on that one. But going back to our 1380 The Fan Midwest Box Breaks game of the week, how much did it subvert your expectations of what you thought you were going to see? Did you go into tonight thinking you were going to see a 9-6 defensive field goal battle?
Well, I thought it would be a defensive game. Mm-hmm. Both these teams are probably stronger defensively than offensively. Carroll has trouble running the football, makes them very one-dimensional. And of course, Bishop Dwenger, I still haven't bought into their offense yet. They're coming along, but I haven't totally bought into it. They're primarily a running offense, and I think when you get into the red zone and you get all those defenders that start to bunch up toward the line of scrimmage, it makes things difficult against a good defense like Carroll. Bishop Dwenger couldn't get it into the end zone. They had to settle for field goals, but they've got a great field goal kicker. I mean, we saw 2 really good kickers tonight, and they ended up dominating the game. But think about that, Adam. We've gone 2 high school games without seeing a touchdown.
Oh, you're in a drought. You're in a serious drought, my friend.
9-0 last week. All field goals for Snyder. 9-6 this week. All field goals.
Oh man, it looks like the kick was no good, or whatever they tried to do
What?
was no good.
What?
I don't know if it was I didn't see the play and they didn't replay it, but I can tell you Northrop has the ball back in a tie game with 2.6 seconds left.
Where do they have the ball?
Right in the end zone there, right outside of the Homestead end zone. So this game's going to overtime.
Okay, so it was not a missed field goal.
I
That's what
think they run a play. I think they ran a trick
They
play.
ran a play?
I'm going to have to rewind it and tell us. If anybody wants to chime
Oh, my
let us know
goodness.
what happened, too. We're on 1380 The Fan on Facebook, YouTube, text line 260-447-8500.
Those kickers that they get from the college game day that Pat McAfee pulls out of the crowd and Kirk Herbstreit holds the football, they can kick a field goal from that distance. What on earth?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what happened there, to be entirely honest with you.
We're seeing guys kick 51-yard field goals to win games.
Yeah.
Homestead's on what, the 1-yard line?
Yeah.
Somebody explain it to me. I'm not watching, but this doesn't make sense to me. You kick a field goal, you win the game, you go home with your third consecutive win. You knock off Northrop that hasn't lost yet. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Crazy.
Craziness, my friend.
All right, so we're going to have a lot of fun tonight. We're going to make an effort, and I have no idea if this is going to work, but we're going to make an effort to get a coach on the show tonight.
All right.
Because obviously that's a big part of this show. We have to be able to talk to our coaches, and we have, for 15 years, so many of our friends have chimed in with us. Grant Mosier is one of our favorites at South Adams, and I believe South Adams got a big win tonight over Heritage.
Yeah, 42-14 was South Adams over Heritage tonight.
Okay, so Coach Mosier's probably in a really good mood. It's a great time to talk to him. We're gonna try to get him on. Also, we're gonna try to talk to Jason Garrett from Bishop Twenger if we can catch him at some point later tonight. But we're going to give it our best shot. But right now, we're going to take a break. When we come back from the break, we're going to have a scoreboard with Adam Lundy. Of course, the H&K Chevrolet of New Haven High School football scoreboard, all part of the post-game show. Coming to you live from Pizza Hut with Adam Lundy back at the mic. It is the Kester's post-game show on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
Even though H&K Chevrolet
Live from the Pizza Hut at Pine Valley is where the postgame show is originating each and every week. I am Brett Rump along with Adam Lundy, and it was quite a game we saw. Even though we did not see a touchdown, we did have the Midwest Box Breaks game of the week come down to a field goal in the fourth quarter, first play of the fourth quarter. And unfortunately, the officials decided to really quick spot the football, and Dwenger got on the field. They were ready to go. And we didn't even get 60 seconds between the end of the third quarter and the start of the fourth. And so it's kind of disappointing that we didn't have the actual 51-yard kick on the live radio broadcast because, well, the officials just were in too big a hurry. It's kind of tough. They don't give us that guy on the sideline with the orange glove that can wave his hand and tell us, not to start yet. And so, we try to sneak in 60-second commercial in between quarters, and when the officials don't give us enough time, we end up missing a play like a 51-yard field goal. I'm still in amazement over that.
That's insane, just especially as a high school kicker. Going to overtime here between Homestead and Northrop. Homestead does score first, but they missed their extra point. So it's 42-36. Northrop has a chance.
So Homestead, in the kicking game,
they
blew the field goal that would have won it. And now they've missed an extra point that could very well cost them the football game.
Yes, that could be the case. Special teams could be coming to haunt them here.
Well, let's get caught up, Adam. We need to know what's happening on the H&K Chevrolet of New Haven high school football scoreboard.
All right, let's do it, Brett. We're going to start off in the SAC, where tonight Northside got the win over Concordia 49-14. In our Midwest Box Breaks high school football game of the week, you heard Bishop Dwenger get the win over Carroll 9-6. Bishop Luers over Southside 21-12, and Snyder got the win over Wayne 31-18. Northeast 8 conference action tonight. Norwell defeats Belmont 48-21. Huntington North over Columbia City 21-14. East Noble defeated DeKalb 21-14, and Leo over New Haven tonight 49-14. AC action tonight. It was Adams Central shutting out Jay County 40-0. Bluffton over Woodland 42-7. South Adams defeats Heritage 42-14, and it was West Dell over Southern Wells 36-14. Northeast Corner conference action tonight. It was West Noble defeating Angola 28-14. Churubusco gets the win over Eastside 19-14. Fairfield got a close win over Culver Academy tonight 28-27. Garrett defeats Lakeland 28-7, and Fremont with a big one over Osceola Grace 59-7. Independent action. Fort Wayne Blackhawk Christian falls to Shenandoah tonight. Shenandoah wins 44-21. And your bonus score, Brett, it was Indiana, the Hoosiers defeating the Indiana State Sycamores in Bloomington 73-0.
I told you, I said Indiana, I think, has the chance to be better than they were a year ago. This game tonight does not surprise me whatsoever. And Fernando Mendoza might just be making a statement that he wants to be mentioned a little more frequently when you talk Heisman Trophy. I know I think at the half he was 19 of 20. I mean, that's hard to do when there is no defense, which pretty much Indiana State was tonight. But it's still difficult to go 19 for 20 in any situation. But, because you got to have every receiver always catch it. You got to have accurate throws. You got to have the protection up front so you're not scrambling and running around. And 19 of 20 something. I'll tell you, I'll give you another stat that's pretty darn impressive tonight.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Gus Tipman, he's 5'5". 5'5", just a little guy, 5'5", 155 pounds, little spark plug in the backfield for Bishop Dwenger. 36 carries tonight. I mean, this guy should just turn off his ringer, put the do not disturb on his phone, and sleep the rest of the weekend. This dude needs some rest. 36 carries, and he had a couple of catches. So he actually had like 38 offensive touches, plays.
Wow.
5'5" guy, 36 carries, 155 yards. They trusted him throughout the second half. They came out of the gates. Their very first drive of the football game, they went right down the field, and primarily it was give the ball to Gus. And Gus Tippmann left, Gus Tippmann right, Gus Tippmann up the middle. And they went down the field and then had the drive stall, and they had to kick the field goal on their first possession. That tied the score 3-3 in the first quarter. But they kind of got away from that. They started to then the next series, they kind of spread the formation, went with 3 wide. And then the second half, somebody must have said at halftime, you know what worked in that first half was that trips formation where they line up trips tight to the formation off the tackle. And maybe we go back to that formation and just give the ball to Gus. Well, apparently it was working so well. That's the only thing they did. Gus left, Gus right, Gus up the middle. Gus Tippmann, 36 carries for the Bishop Dwenger offense tonight. And you know how many touchdowns he got, Adam? None.
0, because it was all field goals.
It was all field goals. We
Hey,
never saw a touchdown.
I do have an update for you here on this Homestead and Northrop game. It has gone final, and Homestead wins 42-36. Northrop is denied on 3rd and 4th down, looking for the end zone.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big win for Homestead. You know, we thought they were in some big trouble. They have been a 500 football team 3 years in a row. And then they go into this year and they feel pretty optimistic because they've got a senior quarterback in his 3rd year in the program, and they really felt like Michael White was going to lead them somewhere this year. Very first game of the year. He ends up with a, unofficially, I think it's a broken collarbone or some kind of an injury that keeps him out for pretty much the season. And so you have to count on the next man up. And this Frieden kid has come in and done a terrific job at quarterback. Homestead as a collective unit has stepped up. They've now won 3 straight without Michael White. They are 2-0 in the Summit Athletic Conference. They persevere in tonight's game. That's an impressive win. That is a really good win for the Homestead Spartans tonight.
Yeah, no question about it. And now just taking a look at the Summit Athletic Conference, you only have 3 2-0 teams. You're looking at Bishop Dwenger, Homestead, and Snyder in undefeated in the conference play.
Once again, we're going to try to get either Grant Mosher from South Adams, and that's a big win for South Adams. That, to me, is one of the most impressive victories of the night. In fact, I think right now, if I just look at it, I think that's the most impressive win. And I know there were a couple of blanks on my score sheet. Maybe you've updated those, but
I'll send you the new one here.
Yeah, send me a new one because I want to be able to tell which game had the best game tonight. But the most impressive win, based on what you sent me, I think has to be the margin for South Adams. I picked South Adams to win. I have to tell you that I did pick South Adams at home. And I actually said, when I made my high school picks, I actually said, Coach Mosher, don't let me down. I'm picking you to win this week against Heritage. But the margin with which they won, what was it again, 42-14?
Yeah, South Adams defeats Heritage 42-14 tonight.
Pretty darn impressive. Okay, so let's see. NE8 scores. Man, Belmont scored 21 points, and then Norwell scores 48 against them. You know, that's the best Belmont's offense has done in a while. Maybe they can start to piece something together, but I think the best chance they had at a win in the NE8 might have been tonight. And the losing streak, I think, is now, 35 or 36 for Belmont?
It'll be 36 after tonight. Yes, sir.
All right, so then Huntington North, most impressive win of the night. I'll give it to the Vikings.
There you go.
They won at home against Columbia City. That's pretty impressive, 21-14. And then you've got East Noble struggled against DeKalb. I hate to say one of the most impressive margins was DeKalb staying within 7 and still losing, but that was a much more competitive game than most of us expected.
Yeah, agreed.
Adams Central, no problem with Jay County. Didn't expect there to be any. Bluffton, big over Woodland. NECC, nothing there. Yes, Cherubusco,
Yep.
1940. See, I didn't get far enough down on the list. Cherubusco, nice bounce back. They got beat last week, but they bounced back and they win tonight, 19-14 over Eastside.
Yeah, good win over the Blazers.
Garrett, they got hit so hard by graduation. All of those players that were seniors that had been in the program, some of them played as freshmen, many of them played as sophomores, and they led Garrett to a semi-state appearance a year ago. We thought Garrett may have lost the class, the group of kids that something special happens with, but then when they leave, you kind of go back to being an okay football team. Not the case. Garrett, nice win over Lakeland. Should we apologize to Ryan Eaton?
No, he already knew. He was actually the guy who sent in that score for us. So big shout out to Ryan.
So he's being a big man and accepting defeat.
Yeah.
As the Lakers. Let's see. Blackhawk got beat 73-0. Yeah, you had to throw that one. 73-0. The Hoosiers.
Yeah, that was a good win there for the Hoosiers. I don't even know what to say about that game.
I could tell you this: the one girl that's the AP voter, she'll drop Indiana in the poll by about 5 spots this week.
That's not enough.
Did you see that controversy?
No, I didn't. What happened there?
Oh, there's a girl who's got on a beat. I don't even know what team she's covering, but the AP poll releases all of the voters and what they vote. And Florida got knocked off by South Florida.
Yep.
And she moved Florida up like 2 or 3 spots in her poll. And the whole poll looked a little crazy, but that one really stood out since Florida had gotten beat. Most of the pollsters had dropped them almost completely out of the poll, and she moved them up in her poll. And so she took a lot of heat. And so it's kind of like, all right, let's see what she does with Indiana after a 73-0 win against Indiana State. Yes, it's Indiana State, but 73-0 is a pretty impressive score. And I'm sure Indiana played a lot of that second half with a lot of the guys that are not going to be on the field next week against Illinois.
Yeah, agreed. Good tune-up.
All right. Let's go ahead and take a break. We're going to see if we can snag a coach, and we will come back. We'll give you scores once again of tonight's high school football action, week 4. Hard to believe in 1 week we will be at the midway point of the high school football season. It's the Kester's Postgame Show live at Pizza Hut on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. from Pizza Hut. It is the Kester's post-game show. I am Brett Rump along with Adam Lundy, who is at the mic at our scoreboard desk. And, of course, week 4 is in the books. And now I am getting a text that apparently Bishop Dwenger is trying to count that as a 52-yard field goal.
Oh.
It was not. It was 51. I will just tell you, because the way field goals are measured, you don't get credit of the yard until you've reached the full yard. That's the way it is in most. So in other words, if you're at the 41.5-yard line, okay, that's not a 52-yard field goal. That's a 51-yard field goal. But they apparently counted it as 52. I don't get a vote. But I will tell you this. That's still really dang far. I would say that's got to be a school record. I don't think anybody at an individual school would beat that. And I'm wondering if it is the longest in the history of the Summit Athletic Conference. If anybody knows and can let us know, what's the best way to tell you? Because nobody's going to be able to tell me. I can't get any kind of messages out here. But what's the best way to tell you, Adam?
Yeah, you can leave a comment on our YouTube stream. That's at youtube.com/1380thefan. Or you can find that stream to leave us a comment by checking out our Facebook at facebook.com/1380thefan. There's a link to the stream there. Or if you just want to text it in because you're listening to the radio, you can text it in to 260-447-8500.
Well, I am sure, since I dealt with the traffic getting out of the Carroll parking lot, there's probably still people that haven't made it home that went to the Carroll Bishop Dwenger game. I was one of the first to leave, Adam.
Right.
And it took me 10 minutes or better to get out of the parking lot. And I was one of the first ones to my car, because you know how my routine is. I end the game, I pull the headset, I run, and of course I had to ride the elevator down.
Of course.
But I get down and then I run to my car. Now, running to my car, I guess that's somewhat of a relative term, because in my mind I'm running. But if you physically looked at me, you'd say, that guy's not running. I don't know what he's doing. But I got to my car fairly quickly. And then it was everybody sit and wait for everybody else. And I sat there for a very long time. By the way, the holder on that 51-yard field goal that they're calling 52 is none other than Tommy Kaufman.
Oh.
So if there's any kind of record, then he now has a part of it, because he did touch the ball before Lucas Wynn kicked it. So congratulations to Tommy. Does his best work sitting on one knee. But anyway, he was the holder for that 51-yard kick that they're counting as 52. But I don't want to take anything away. Lucas Wynn he could have made it from 55. And if they want to give him 55, I'm fine with that too.
Impressive.
Oh, yeah, he's a high school kid kicking 50-some-yard field goals. Now, maybe somebody can also tell me, because a kicker like that has got to be getting some big-time college offers. Does he have a college offer? Somebody will have to tell me, because that was, not only to kick it 50-some yards, but to kick it with pinpoint accuracy. It looked like it went right through the middle of the uprights from our angle. Now, we have the worst angle to look at it, but it looked like it was very pure when he kicked it. All right, Adam, we've got to get a scoreboard. We've got to get everybody up to date on what's happening. And, of course, it's always a pleasure to bring you the H&K Chevrolet of New Haven High School Football scoreboard.
Yes, it is a pleasure, and we now have all of our finals from in and around the area, so I have a complete scoreboard to give to you from H&K Chevrolet of New Haven. We're going to start off in the SAC, where it was Northside over Concordia tonight, 49-14. In our Midwest Box Breaks game of the week, which you heard right here, it was Bishop Dwenger over Carroll, 9-6. Bishop Luers defeated Southside tonight, 21-12. It was an exciting overtime game with Homestead getting the win over Northrop, 42-36, to hand Northrop their first loss of the season. One more in the SAC was Snyder defeating the Wayne Generals, 31-18. Moving on to the Northeast 8 Conference, Norwell gets a win over Belmont, 48-21. Huntington North over Columbia City, 21-14. East Noble defeated DeKalb, 21-14, and it was Leo over New Haven, 49-14. In the ACAC, Adams Central shuts out Jay County tonight, 40-0. Bluffton over Woodland, 42-7. South Adams defeated Heritage, 42-14, and West Dell defeated Southern Wells tonight, 36-14. Northeast Corner Conference action was West Noble over Angola, 28-14. Churubusco defeated Eastside, 19-14. Fairfield with a close win over Culver Academy tonight, 28-27. Garrett gets the win over Lakeland, 28-7. Fremont won big over Osceola Grace tonight, 59-7, and it was Central Noble defeating Prairie Heights tonight, 35-26. Blackhawk Christian lost to Shenandoah tonight. Shenandoah gets the win over Blackhawk Christian, 44-21. And Indiana, the Hoosiers, handle business at home against Indiana State by a score of 73-0.
I'm sitting here trying to look at the current standings in some of our area conferences, because the first 2 weeks were non-conference, and then the last 2 weeks have been conference. So you've got overall records. You also have conference records. Conference records are half the number of games. But okay, let's look. Because coming into tonight, there was only one unbeaten in the Summit Athletic Conference. That was Northrop. They are unbeaten no more. They fall to 3-1 overall. They are now 1-1 in conference play. Bishop Dwenger leapfrogs them at 2-0. Homestead leapfrogs Northrop. They're 2-0 in the conference. Homestead and Dwenger also now 3-1. So Northrop, Dwenger, and Homestead all with 3-1 records. You've got Carroll now sitting in last place in the A division of the SAC. They're 1-3. Snyder got a win tonight. They're 2-2. And Carroll is 1-1. And Snyder's 2-0. So you've got Dwenger, Homestead, and Snyder 2-0, with Northrop and Carroll 1-1. But Northrop, because they've got a better overall record, and I don't know if this is actually a tiebreaker, but I'm going to make it my own little tiebreaker. I'm going to say Northrop gets fourth place in the A division over Carroll because of the better overall record, although Carroll's played tougher competition. Now you look at B division. Northside won tonight. They are now 3-1 overall. They are 1-1 in the conference. Concordia lost. So Concordia falls to 0-2 and 0-4. Luers gets a win over Southside. That was a matchup of two teams winless on the year. So Bishop Luers now 1-1 in league play and 1-3 overall, while Southside dropped that game to Luers. Southside 0-2 in the conference, 0-4 overall, and Wayne now 0-2 in league play, 0-4 their overall record. So that gets everything updated. Now let's take a peek to next week for the SAC, where next week's schedule, Carroll is at Snyder. There's a couple of teams that right now don't want to see their season go any further south. You know, Carroll 1-3, Snyder 2-2. That's not the type of matchup that we would have expected before the season started. In fact, we might have thought that could have been the game for the SAC. Bishop Dwenger and Homestead. Wow. You got a couple of good ones in the Summit Athletic Conference. You've got Carroll, Snyder, Homestead, and Dwenger. And our game is going to be up at East Noble, where you've got Leo at East Noble. That's a big week next week, Adam.
That's a huge week next week. You mentioned it, 2 4-0 teams that we'll be seeing next week between East Noble and Leo, but you mentioned it. I mean, Bishop Dwenger and Homestead now 2-0 in the SAC, so one of them will have an SAC loss after next week. So some exciting stuff coming up here next Friday night.
Maybe I'll just let Shannon Griffith do the game solo. He can do play-by-play in color. I'm going to go see Homestead Dwenger.
Yeah, you're going to skip out?
Yeah. You guys have fun up in Kendallville. That Homestead, that's the only thing is we can only get to one game each week.
Exactly.
And a week and a half ago, it looked like East Noble hosting Leo would be the game of the night. But then you see Dwenger knock off Carroll. You see Homestead knock off Northrop. Now all of a sudden, Homestead at Bishop Dwenger looks like a huge game. You've got Carroll and Snyder. That game's intriguing only because it's two teams that have traditionally been at the top of the Summit Athletic Conference, and you could have a Carroll team that's 1-4 if they can't win at Snyder on the road next week, and you might have a pair of 2-3 teams when the night is all said and done.
Yeah, and I mean, Carroll falling to 1-4 and putting them that firmly at the bottom of the A division in the Summit Athletic Conference. I don't think that's what anybody saw coming from this Carroll Chargers team. I know we knew there'd be a loss with the loss of Jimmy Sullivan, but nothing this severe.
Northside is at Bishop Luers next week. The Knights are going to have to find a little more offense to be able to stay on the field with Northside. And then you've got Northrop at Concordia. That should be a recipe for Northrop to be able to bounce back after the overtime loss to Homestead tonight. Now, we mentioned in the NE8 that we're going to be at the big one up in Kendallville with Leo at East Noble. But let's look at the conference standings because both those teams won.
Yep.
So East Noble is now 4-0, 2-0 in the league. Leo a matching 4-0, 2-0 in the league. Columbia City was the other unbeaten coming into tonight. Columbia City got upset by Huntington North, who was winless going into the game tonight.
Yep.
So Huntington North gets their first win. They hand Columbia City their first loss. Things kind of tighten up in the middle of the pack for the NE8. But next week in NE8 play, we're going to have DeKalb at Columbia City. That could be a better game than we would have expected. DeKalb made it close against East Noble, and Columbia City lost to Huntington North. Belmont's going to get their chance to break the losing streak. They will have Huntington North. Big emotional win for the Vikings. You don't want to have a letdown now next week when you go on the road to Belmont. And Norwell will be at New Haven. Those are a couple of teams kind of desperately looking for a win, as Norwell did pick up the win against Belmont. So Norwell picks up their first win of the year. New Haven fell to 0-4 tonight with their loss. So that's what's up in the NE8 next week. We look at the ACAC, the Adams Central Athletic
Conference.
Oh, yeah. AC has dominated this conference. And yes, I know it's called the Allen County Athletic Conference, but when Adams Central dominates like they have, it becomes the ACAC. All right, let's look at this. Bluffton, what'd they do tonight? They won? Yeah,
won. Over Woodland, 42-7. Yep.
Undefeated, 4-0, 2-0 in the league. Heritage suffers their first loss at the hands of South Adams. 3-1 Patriots, 1-1 in the conference, and South Adams was 1-2. They're now 2-2 overall. They're 1-1 in league play. Good bounce back for South Adams after a tough loss to Bluffton. Remember, they only lost to Bluffton by 3.
Yeah.
And Adams Central, who'd they play tonight?
Jay County, they shut them out.
Oh, yeah, they whooped on Jay County. It's the ACAC, by the way. Jay County's in the ACAC, and they learned why it's the ACAC.
They sure did.
All right, so Adams Central is now 4-0 overall. It's been a very quiet 4-0 for Adams Central.
I mean, that's Adams Central to a T, though, for you. They just chug along and handle their business, and then they're in the postseason, and then they go on a run.
Yeah. Playing 2A football now.
Yep. Yeah. Good stuff.
All right. We are going to take a timeout. We're going to come back. We're going to give you more scores. Check our latest update on the HK Chevrolet of New Haven high school football scoreboard. We I've got my order in, Adam.
Yeah.
I'm about ready to go pick up my order and chow down to wrap up my Friday night. It's perfect nightcap. If you haven't, get out your Pizza Hut app. If you're still driving home, wherever you've been, if you've been at a high school football game or elsewhere, get out your Pizza Hut app, place your order, pick it up on the way home, and then you've got a nice little quick dinner when you get home. Don't do any fixing, and remember, you can always the rest of it can be good for tomorrow lunch or tomorrow while you're watching high school or college football,
Or Sunday for NFL
or
football.
or Sunday for NFL football. Sometimes if you're a single guy ordering 2 pizzas, you know what I'm up to. Not that I've done that. Yes, I have done that. I have to admit I've done that.
That's your Friday routine, Brett.
Yeah, sometimes it's like buying a week's worth of groceries. I go to Pizza Hut, I just get 2 pizzas, and I'm like, yeah, I'm good until Thursday.
But yeah, Pizza Hut is the spot.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we'll take a break. It is the Kester's post-game show live here at the Pine Valley Pizza Hut on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
Get the
Pizza Hut at Pine Valley. It's another edition of your Friday night high school football postgame show presented by Kester's Truck Sales in New Haven. They're right there on Highway 30 between the Cloverleaf, easy for me to say, and downtown New Haven. Well, hopefully you don't get tongue-tied, Adam, because we want to check the scoreboard once again, which is the H&K Chevrolet of New Haven high school football scoreboard. Full rundown. Let's hear it.
All right, we'll give you a full rundown here, Brett. We're going to start off in the SAC where it was Northside over Concordia, 49-14. In our Midwest Box Breaks high school football game of the week, which you heard right here, it was Bishop Dwenger over Carroll by a score of 9-6. Bishop Lures got the win over Southside, 21-12. In a game that went to overtime, Homestead gives Northrop their first loss of the season, defeating Northrop 42-36.
Uh-oh. See, it's late on a Friday.
You passed it off to me. And then Snyder got the win over Wayne, 31-18. Moving on to the Northeast State tonight, it was Norwell over Belmont, 48-21. Huntington North over Columbia City, 21-14. East Noble defeated DeKalb, 21-14. And Leo over New Haven, 49-14. ACAC action, it was Adams Central shutting out Jay County 40-0. Bluffton over Woodland 42-7. South Adams defeated Heritage 42-14, and it was West Dell over Southern Wells 36-14. Northeast Corner Conference tonight, West Noble over Angola 28-14. Churubusco over Eastside 19-14. Fairfield won a close one over Culver Academy 28-27. Garrett defeated Lakeland tonight 28-7. Fremont won big over Osceola Grace by a score of 59-7, and Central Noble won over Prairie Heights 35-26. Elsewhere, Blackhawk Christian falls to Shenandoah tonight. Shenandoah wins over Blackhawk Christian 44-21, and the Indiana Hoosiers defeat the Indiana State Sycamores in Bloomington 73-0. Brett?
I am looking at the stats for that game.
Are you having fun?
And they're even more remarkable than a 73-0 score.
Let's hear it.
Indiana, 680 total yards of offense.
Wow.
680. They were 6 for 8 on third down. They held Indiana State to 2 of 14 on third down and just 77 total offensive yards, meaning that the Hoosiers outgained Indiana State by 603 yards in that game.
Yeah, that sounds like it could end up with our final score.
Indiana completed 26 of 30 passes overall. Fernando Mendoza completed 19 of 20.
Mm-hmm.
The Mendoza brothers combined to go 25 of 28 for 7 touchdowns. 7. And Omar Cooper ran or had receiving yards that would have gotten him from Bloomington to Indianapolis. Not really, but close.
Crazy. But yeah, I mean, this is a lopsided score, but it's looking into the numbers that really make it quite impressive.
I mean, so many did it too. So many contributors.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say too. I mean, a lot of times in these lopsided games, you see it slow down quite a bit after halftime because you see the second and third stringers for the the team winning by a lot, but they just kept it going. So 73-0.
Kurt Signetti, it's a disciplined program, and it doesn't matter what the score is. He expects perfection. Whether you're first team, second team, third team, you go in, you execute, you make the plays. There's no tossing in, the towel, and not that you're surrendering, but that you're just, going out, going through the motions, so to speak. None of that with a Kurt Signetti program. You play. And I don't think he's trying to pile up the score. He's trying to play good football. And he wants his guys that are first team, second team, third team to go in and play the same quality and caliber of football that the guys that start the game play. Quite honestly, and that's what they did. All right, we're going to take our final break, and we'll come back and wrap it up on the other side. You're listening or watching the high school football post-game show presented by Kester's live from the Pine Valley Pizza Hut on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. We are actually live at the Pizza Hut in Pine Valley for the Kester's postgame show, and it's actually the village of Coventry, but who's counting? Let's go ahead and get a final scoreboard. We got to check the HK Chevrolet of New Haven high school football scoreboard one more time.
All right, thanks, Brett. In the SAC tonight, it was Northside over Concordia 49-14. Bishop Dwenger over Carroll 9-6 in our Midwest Box Breaks high school football game of the week. Bishop Luers defeated Southside 21-12. Homestead won over Northrop 42-36 in overtime, and it was Snyder over Wayne 31-18. Northeast State, it was Norwell over Belmont 48-21. Huntington North defeated Columbia City 21-14. East Noble defeated DeKalb 21-14, and it was Leo over New Haven 49-14. ACAC Adams Central shuts out Jay County 40-0. Bluffton over Woodland 42-7. South Adams defeated Heritage 42-14, and West Dell over Southern Wells 36-14. Northeast Corner Conference, West Noble over Angola tonight 28-14. Churubusco defeats Eastside 19-14. Fairfield over Culver Academy 28-27. Garrett defeats Lakeland 28-7. Fremont big over Osceola Grace 59-7. Central Noble defeated Prairie Heights 35-26, and Shenandoah defeated Blackhawk Christian 44-21. Your Indiana Hoosiers defeated Indiana State 73-0.
Hey, got to ask you real quick, Adam. Pick a winner: USC, Purdue.
USC.
Notre Dame, Texas A&M.
Notre Dame.
Those are the two big ones tomorrow night. Just a reminder that Notre Dame will be on WOWO 92.3 FM tomorrow night because they both play a Saturday night game. Big thanks to Macy Gray back in the studio. Thanks to you, Adam, was running things all night long. And thanks to everybody that tunes in for our high school football coverage. Got to turn it over to the coach, Bob Lovell. He's got Indiana Sports Talk coming up next. You've been listening to the Kester's postgame show live from Pizza Hut on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.